Let's make this beginner friendly, easy, merry and bright Christmas stocking. It only takes granny squares. So this is extremely beginner friendly. If you can make this granny square, you can make this stocking. I'm going to show you how to assemble it all. You're going to be making 16 of these granny squares. You're going to be assembling it like this. And yes, there's a lot of ends to weave in, but we'll move past that. I'm going to show you how to crochet this very easy granny square. And this is a classic pattern that is really popular, and you can make really anything with this. So I'm not a magic circle girly, okay? So we're going to slip knot and we're going to chain 4, and we are going to add a slip stitch in that first chain there so we can make a circle, because we are going to be working inside that circle for the first round. There are only 3 rounds of this granny square, so it works up very quickly. But there's the inside of that loop there. And the very first stitch is going to be a chain 2, which is going to count as our first double crochet. So we're going to chain 2, then we're going to add 2 double crochets right beside that. So that is going to be technically your cluster of 3 double crochets. Then we're going to chain 2, and we are going to add 3 double crochets right after that inside the circle. So that is your next cluster of 3 double crochets. We are essentially creating these corners for the granny square in this first round, because we are going to be working in those chain 2 spaces. So after those 3 double crochets, again, we are going to chain 2. And then we're going to be adding our 3 double crochets into the circle. And we are almost complete all of our corners here. So I'm just finishing the last double crochet, and we are going to chain 2. And we have 3 corners. We are going to make 1 more corner. So we are going to add another cluster of double crochets inside that circle, and that is going to complete our corners. So once we've done that, we are going to chain 2, and we are going to slip stitch in that first top of that chain in that first row. And we are going to see all of our 4 corners that we have created. We are going to slip stitch and fasten off because this is the end of round 1, but those are all our 4 corners we're going to be working in. So you're going to attach your white yarn for the next. This is how I attach my yarn. I like this a lot. I pull it right through until that yarn end actually pops out, and I find it really secure. So that has changed my life. But you can do this if you'd like to. So we're going to do the same type of pattern, except in these we are making corners. So in our chain 2 spaces, we are doing 3 double crochets, but in that first one we did chain 2. 2 double crochets. We're going to chain 2 again. Now we are going to add 3 double crochets. So we are essentially creating each corner, and we're going to repeat this for round 2. It's going to be exactly the same in every chain 2 space. I'm running out of yarn here. I had to pull it. But there is your 3, chain 2 and 3. And now we are chain 2 again, and we're going to do the exact same thing in the next chain 2 space, which is that corner there. So we're doing 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So really simple and easy and very repetitive. This is a great pattern to watch TV, watch a movie. It's kind of mindless because the pattern repeats itself. It's always double crochets and chain 2s throughout this entire pattern. And even though I stopped at round 3, you can definitely continue on and make so many other things with this exact same pattern and just keep repeating it over and over again and keep doing these in the corners. So we finished 2 corners there. I'm going to finish the other 2, and we are going to be finished this round 2. We'll slip stitch and fasten off, but you can use any colors you'd like too, by the way. I just like these Christmas colors. But we're done here. We're going to chain 2, and we are going to slip stitch in that first chain there from the top of that row, and that's it. We are going to slip stitch, fasten off, and we are done round 2. Now we are essentially doing and repeating this exact same thing for round 3. The only thing different here is that there's a chain 2 space that is not a corner. So we'll show you how to do that, but again, very, very easy. So again, start your row in a chain 2 space, or your round. You're going to chain 2, and you're going to add 2 double crochets. And then we're going to chain 2 again. Surprise, surprise. And that's going to be our corner. So we're adding another 3 double crochets there. And like I said, please choose any colors you'd like. Obviously, this is a Christmas stocking, but you can do anything that matches your Christmas decor. You can do neutral colors, all green, you know, keep changing colors and make them all different. There's just so many ways to do this. But here is the chain two space that's within the square. That is not a corner. And all we're doing is adding 3 double crochets and we're chaining 2. That's really it. So if you find any chain 2 spaces that's not a corner, that's all you're doing is you're adding the 3 double crochets, and just make sure there's chain 2s in between all of these clusters of double crochets. That's really it. You can also change this pattern to do half double crochets or triple crochets instead of double. It will give you a completely different square. It'll be bigger, larger, longer stitches. So feel free to experiment with this pattern, but this pattern is definitely consistent and you can use this for so many other projects. But there's your corners and your spaces on the side, and we're just going to finish that square up, but that is the end of it. I finished my last cluster there of double crochets. I chained 2. I'm going to slip stitch in that first chain there, and we are going to fasten off, and that is the end of the granny squares for this stocking. Just 3 rounds. And if you've never crocheted a granny square, this is the perfect one for you to try and to start with because it's so repetitive. Now, here is how we assemble the stocking with all your 16 squares. You can pause on this screen here so you can see exactly how to seam it together, but this is literally it. The ends that you have to weave in, I'm going to apologize in advance. Pretty annoying, but this is what we did, guys. We love crochet and we know we have to weave in ends, so it's our fault. There's a lot of ends to weave in, but whatever. Once you're done and it looks all clean and nice, it's a beautiful Christmas stocking, but really just follow that picture and put it all together like that. You can slip stitch them together, single crochet them together. But once all those ends are weaved in, it looks gorgeous. I folded down that top row there of those green granny squares just to make a cuff. You don't have to do that, but I did like the way it looked. Like and subscribe for more yarn tutorials, DIYs, crafts. All of my patterns are free. Check them out at othcrochetnook.ca. Can't wait to see your beautiful Merry and Bright Christmas stocking. Have fun.